Hello class, this is Miss Hamrick. Today we're going to talk about the meaning of explicit and implicit writing. So, your objective for today is students will take notes on the meaning of explicit and implicit writing and record a verbal summary explaining the difference between both types of writing and how knowing the difference improves reading skills. Let's get started. First, let's define explicit. State it clearly and in detail, leaving no room for confusion or doubt. That's what it means. So when there is something that is said or written and it's clear and detailed and there's no room for confusion or room for your imagination to work, it is pretty much written in explicit form. For example, I saw Billy take a bite out of his apple. You know exactly what Billy did, which was take a bite out of his apple, as we clearly see right here. This is an indication that this is explicit because it is clearly stating what you saw without leaving any room for confusion or doubt. You clearly see Billy taking a bite out of his apple. A good question to ask would be, why? Why would a writer use explicit writing? Well, a writer may just want to be direct, like in this case. He just wants to let you know what Billy did. Or if you are writing in technical form or in educational material, the writer or author wants to be direct and clear. They do not want to leave any doubt in your mind about what is being written. Before we go on to implicit, let's look at the term infer. Infer means conclude from evidence and reasoning using logic. So we take all the information that we have in front of us and we make assumptions. When you read fictional text, you are able to make assumptions or logical guesses based on the evidence in the writing, and you also use your prior knowledge. An example of inference would be when you're about to leave the house and your mother asks, "Are you going to wear that to school?" Although your mother may not have clearly or directly stated that she doesn't like your choice of clothing, you can infer by the tone of her voice that she doesn't approve of what you have chosen to wear. When reading, it is important to ask yourself inference questions. What is my inference? What information did I use to make my inference? How good was my thinking? Do I need to change my thinking? These are questions that help you check if you are really understanding what you are reading. So why do writers use inferences? Well, writers use inferences to hint about the details and add suspense for the reader. Inferences are also necessary because authors can't always write every detail about what is happening in the story. So now we finish with our last vocabulary term, implicit. Implicit means implied thought not plainly expressed. It is something that is inferred. For example, I saw Billy take a bite out of his apple. Then he made a face. He must not have liked it. The end of the second sentence, he must not have liked it, is implicit. The writer does not clearly state that Billy doesn't like the apple. It is an implicit statement because we're taking the information that we read and we are inferring that he must not have liked it if he made a face after biting the apple. Why would a writer use implicit writing? A writer may use implicit writing if he wants to be mysterious, he wants to draw the reader into the story, he wants to hint at details in a skillful or clever manner. In this lesson, we have covered the definition of explicit and implicit writing. Why do we need to know the difference between explicit and implicit? Every text has explicit and implicit meanings. Your ability of comprehending what you read depends on you being able to pull information from the text. Information from text will be explicit, implicit, or a combination of both. By being able to distinguish the two, you are able to understand character motivation, author's purpose, main idea, and other relevant reading comprehension skills. This concludes our lesson on explicit and implicit text. Your objective was to take notes on the meaning of explicit and implicit writing and record a verbal summary explaining the difference between both types of writing and how knowing the difference improves reading skills. Go ahead and review your notes now, and when you are ready, record your verbal summary.